Merry Christmas! This is Crafty Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I'm going to cover round 1 results for the Darkhawk and Ant-Man arenas, then jump into some round 2 predictions. So let's take first a look at the results. Darkhawk came in as a pretty decent champ in terms of his cutoff, high number if you look at it that way, 59.6 million for that 5-star. So that would indicate there's a pretty strong interest for him. I think there's a especially if he's duped, he looks to be a pretty decent champ to have. So the community's grinding in the first round indicates that as well, almost getting to 60 million. So a good 59.6 million. For the 4-star, came in at 12.6 million. For the 4-star basic Ant-Man, as expected, came to 1.66. A lot of folks had that problem of trying to get to that last milestone, but also trying to just get the shards and not get Ant-Man. That's always a danger zone when you got these low interest 4-star basic champs. And lastly, the 3-star feature Darkhawk came in at 1.3 million again, and these are all for the veterans bracket. So in terms of my predictions, pretty much right in the ballpark with all of these. Right within that 10% for both the 4-star and the 5-star feature, almost on the dot exactly with the Ant-Man 4-star basic, and then real close as well with the 3-star feature Darkhawk. So that's exactly what we try to get with these, 10% or better. Within this case, for most, it was definitely not just at the 10%, but even closer between that 5 to 10%, or even dead on when it comes like the 4-star basic and 3-star feature. So when it comes to round 2 predictions, let's first take a look at some 5-star feature new champ trends. You can see with Symbiote Supreme, it went with that low 41, then it went up to 51 in the second round. Venom the Duck had that really low first round, coming in at 26 million, then jumped up 36. So these guys had really low first rounds, which always kind of follows up with a really high second round. And then the champion had a not as low, but still not a very high first round of 45, and it jumped to not 10 million in this case, but to 5 million higher to almost 50 million. I took a quick look. Thrasher, Night Thrasher was kind of in the same ballpark. That low first round jumping up in the second round. But when I was noticing when there was higher, like Symbiote Supreme, he had a really high first round and then nosedive in the second. And I've seen that with a couple other champs that had really new feature champs that had high first rounds. They kind of dipped in the second round. So since Darkhawk was kind of on that higher end for first round, I don't think he's going to have that big increase, even though he's definitely a decent champ. I think he's probably going to hold stable. But anyway, we'll get to my prediction here shortly. Now let's take a look at some 4-star feature new champ trends. You can see first round to the second round, there's been typically a dip, especially for Symbiote Supreme and Venom the Duck. But when you look at the champion, there was a slight increase between round 1 and round 2. And I took a look at Night Thrasher. He too had a slight increase between round 1 and round 2. With Darkhawk being a decent champ, I think he's going to be closer to that trend in the Symbiote Supreme and Venom the Duck. And lastly, with Ant-Man between round 1 and round 2, there's typically a slight increase, except with Hulkbuster there was a slight decrease. With Cable, we saw the increase, kind of more like the Nebula and Winter Soldier side, kind of which I was thinking we'd see, because Ant-Man doesn't have a ton of utility, although that decent synergy with Ghost and Wasp. I don't think we're going to see a tremendous difference between round 1 and round 2 one way or the other. They're all going to be within that ballpark where we were in the first round. And lastly, with the 3-star feature, there's always a decrease between round 1 and round 2. So considering all these trends, here are my thoughts of what we can see for the round 2 predictions for the Darkhawk and Ant-Man arena, and again for the veterans bracket, meaning you've got an older account, been live for 61 days or more. So I think with the 5-star feature Darkhawk, that is so easy for me to say, Darkhawk, we're looking at 61 million. For the 4-star feature, I think we're going to be looking at 13 million. For the 4-star basic, a slight increase between round 1 and round 2, but still really in that same ballpark, 1.7 million. Hopefully it'll be easier to get through that last milestone and get those shards without having to actually get the champ. And then lastly, that 3-star feature, we're looking at 1.2 million. Again, these are for the veterans bracket. Here are the grind targets I'd like to give just to make sure you give yourself a little buffer. I think 63 million should be fine for the 5-star feature Darkhawk. I think 13.5 million will be fine for the 4-star Darkhawk. I think 1.8 million will work for the 4-star basic, and I think 1.3 million should be fine for the 3-star feature champ. Now, these grind targets as well as the predictions are for the, and keep in mind, for the predictions, I like to be within 5 to 10%. But again, these predictions and grind targets are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the beginner and intermediate brackets, the newer brackets, there's just not a ton of data. I did hear some, there has been some a couple users sharing with some beginner bracket numbers here over the last few weeks. And the good news is it looks like these numbers have dipped a bit. Maybe there just isn't a ton. That's kind of good from an arena grinding perspective, maybe bad from new users coming into the game perspective, because these numbers have been dipping quite a bit. So maybe there's just not as many people in the pool in the beginner side, which again, great for people that are in the pool, not so great for the vitality, if you will, of the game if there's just not a lot of new users coming in, or new accounts anyway. But anyway, with the beginner's bracket right now, we're looking for a 3-star feature around 245, for the 4-star basic around 800,000, and for the 4-star feature, I have it at 1.1 million, but the last couple weeks I've been seeing these numbers come closer to that 800,000 than over $1 million. Now for the intermediate bracket, meaning your account's been open for 31 to 60 days, for that 3-star feature, you're looking at 525, 4-star basic 900,000, and for the 4-star feature 1.5 million. So anyway, these are my thoughts on the Darkhawk and Ant-Man arenas. Would love to hear your thoughts. So on down in the comment section, we can discuss them there. If you have any questions, throw them there as well. Other than that, I want to wish everybody, again, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Hope everybody had a good 2018 and everybody just has a better 2019. But other than that, if you enjoy watching this video, I really appreciate if you click thumbs up. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel, would really appreciate a subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by and have a Merry Christmas.